wouldn't be. So you got to suspend some disbelief here and there, I guess, with comic books.
I want to ask Kulbir about your thoughts on when a character gets a new movie or a new TV show, and all of a sudden the books have to completely change to be carbon copies of what people are going to be able to see on TV. My main example is Supergirl. I really enjoyed the new 52 Supergirl because, and Chief and I have talked about this before, she was a defiant Supergirl. She would defy. She wouldn't speak English, the English word, Americanese or whatever.
She wouldn't learn any Earth languages.
No Earth languages. She would only speak
animals.
Krypton. She would not. She didn't want to go with Clark's stuff that he was doing. She wanted to do her own thing. And then all of a sudden, hey, Supergirl's coming to the CW, and then the book is immediately she's everything that's on the CW show. She's working for Cat Grant. She's got foster mom and dad now. What are your thoughts on them when taking a character and then completely changing them to mimic what's on the screen?
I think that it has to really be with the writer and what the creator's doing with the storyline. So I don't think anyone has a right to change what a writer's doing with a character. So if the book changes and they get to finish their story, that's great. And if they're then changing it to a new type of character, that you bring on a new writer, you can do that. That's fine. But I don't think you should change it in the midst of someone else's storylines. That really bothers me. But and what can you do?
What can you do?
People are going to want new readers. People are going to want new readers, aren't they?
Yeah.
They want to get more people involved in comics, and I'm all for that. And if it means getting someone to change the storyline so people could recognize the Supergirl they see on TV, and I don't mind that so much. But it shouldn't get in the way of what the writer's original intentions for that was.
I mean, when they do something...
I think there's a lot of impatience because, like I said, if you've been watching comics long enough, been reading comics long enough, you'll know there's been a lot worse gimmicks done in comics in years past than anything going on right now. There has been some really whacked out shit that they've tried to fleece the American people and people around the world with these dumb promotions and gimmicks in comics. And I mean, just be patient. If you're patient enough to pick the good stuff, there's good stuff out there to read.
Always is, and that's why you just carry on.
Yeah.
With the other question I would ask you is I go on about two things on my old path, and that was Tom King and Transformers. Do you guys read any of the Transformer comics?
You know what? I haven't. I did pick this up though, Kulbir, the other day. I picked this up the other day. Check that out. It's the Power of the Prime Grimlock.
Oh, nice.
It looks just like the old generation one. I actually fell off of Transformers I fell off of it because you would have what you had Transformers and you had Transformers More Than Meets the Eye.
Yeah.
And then it became like the Lost Light. And then there was like Optimus Prime got his own, it became like Optimus Prime. It just seemed like they would change the titles so often. And you have these two stories going on. You have these two storylines going on in the separate books, but they're still all connected. And we've said it before, that book is a very intellectual book. You have to read it.
Was there a Beast Wars in there somewhere? Didn't they do a Beast Wars title?
No.
I would like to get back. I would like to get back on it. It's just I wouldn't know where to start this. Again. And plus then they would do. They did all the now they're crossing over with Micronauts and ROM and.
Right, yeah. They're creating the IDW universe is what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I had relatively indifferent to because I don't really care about these other characters. I just want to read Transformers.
Which I'm going to be interested because since Sonic is going to IDW, I'm going to be. Is he now going to be part of the IDW universe?
I don't care for crossovers that much at all. I've never been one of those people that likes mashups with things either. I just don't think it makes any sense to me. Just give me the character I want to read about.
So briefly, Lost Light carries on where More Than Meets the Eye was, and then Optimus Prime carries on where Transformers was.
Okay.
But they also had Till All Are One, so there was another book that was about Cybertron whilst Optimus Prime was on Earth. And yeah, I can appreciate that, but the trades are pretty good, and they come quite nicely in these big giant trades that work quite well. So, but anyway, it's one of those writers that it's a case of building a storyline from scratch, and then taking all the storylines to the end. Like they don't leave anything uncovered, even though you won't get the hook to a story, a panel that was on like 30 issues ago. So it is something you have to really almost study to really get the benefit out of. But it's still fun. It still looks good. If you can handle the art of Transformers, you should read it, because Transformers art is very difficult to do well. Because
did they have the freedom to create new Transformers in it? Did they create new characters, or does Hasbro got the kibosh on it and say, no, we gotta make a toy now? So.
No, they're pretty good at making new characters. They have to sometimes toe the line and have new characters change their outfits and do different things so they can sell toys. But they work that in quite nicely into the storyline. So I now have a Transformers collection. I've got like 20 of them because I'm obsessed with the books. So I'll buy them. I'll buy the third-party ones that look just like the characters in the books I'm liking.
I have the Year of the Horse Optimus Prime special edition right there. That big red box that's right there.
It's such an interesting. It's such an interesting time in comics, as we've been saying, with so many things changing, characters changing to mimic things. I mean, Archie is basically nothing but Riverdale now. Archie lost. I don't know. It's like after they lost the rights to Sonic, and they lost the rights to Mega Man. Mega Man's now been coming out. They just released one called Mega Man Mega Mix or something like that, and it's the original Japanese manga. It's an 80-page, like the first volume is 80 pages, and it's the original Japanese manga finally translated, but it's in a comic book form. You still read it like you would a manga. You read it from right to left instead of left to right. But they lost those. I don't even know what they're doing. They used to have what, like the Black Cat or something like that, or Black Fox or something. But it seems like all I've been seeing lately is Riverdale, and more Riverdale. It's kind of sad in a way. And then you've got Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn body switching with Betty and Veronica on DC, so they've kind of had this little collab going on. Archie's weird.
I'll never read that. I just don't care about that at all.
It's really weird. And then Vertigo has Astro City still, the DC imprint.
I like Astro City. I've only read a few issues of that.
I've never read Astro City.
I'm going to go back and read. I haven't either. I've read like 1 or 2 issues, but when they came out with the dog hero,
the corgi hero, yeah.
Yeah, was it Good Dog was his name or something like that? Good Dog or Good Boy or something like that. He was a guy that he stole this medallion, and he had a dog at home, and he stole this like ancient medallion. It's like a Native American medallion or something he found in this. He was a burglar, and he robbed this woman, and he found this thing, and he took it home, and wearing it when he touched his dog while he was wearing this thing, it transformed him into a little corgi dog man. But he had like all kinds of like superpowers, and it was really funny. But it was actually like it had a lot of heart to it. It was really sad because the dog, he found out that this dog was a stray. And he didn't know how old it was, and he found out like at one end of one of the books that the dog was like 12 or 13 years old. It was almost ready to die, and it was like really sad. This relation this guy had with his dog, and like he could feel what the dog would feel, and like could hear it, and it would. Like when they fly, the dog was like, "This is the greatest thing ever." I've never. We're flying, and like you could hear like this. All this dog wanted was praise and to be called a good boy, and it was really a heartfelt story, but it was really funny too, because this guy became this really squat like corgi man, in a superhero. But it was really good. But I guess it's like it's a whole series that's been going on forever that I haven't read any of. But I'm going to go back and check it out, I think.
Definitely. Go ahead.
I was talking about, did you watch any of the recent movies? What have you watched out recently, superhero-wise?
The My Little Pony movie.
Yeah, I've seen nothing. I will not. I can't go to theaters, especially during flu season. I won't go to the theater because everyone coughs on everybody and they're all gross. And I don't like sitting close to people.
You and I should never be dead. Given how much exposure that I have to things.
Yeah, I don't like people. I like to watch when I watch movies. I like everyone to be quiet. quiet and I want to watch the movie. And I hate cell phones and I hate talking. The last movie I went to see, I think in a theater, was Force Awakens. It was the last time I went to see a movie.
Wow.
And and Spin laughs at me because I did this, but I couldn't take it anymore. I never go to theaters, and I really have a lot of social anxiety when I'm in theaters with people all around me. And I'm watching the movie, and it's in 3D. And a lady with her daughter, like a little daughter, is sitting next to me. And during the course of the movie, this woman is not paying the least bit of attention to her child. And she's wearing those light-up shoes. And the little girl is just stomping her feet, like, right next to me. And it's just a sparkly array of light blinding me. And I waited a long time, and I couldn't take it anymore. And I said, Jesus, with the fucking shoes! Just right at this lady. And I just lost it. And then I felt really bad. And I was like, I just stayed quiet and watched the rest of the movie. But she told her daughter to stop. To stop kicking her feet. But I lost my cool, but Spin seems to think that's hilarious. But see, I'm no good out in public at the movie theater.
The reason why I find it hilarious is, and Chief will tell you, I'm very diplomatic in everything that I do, you know. But I love his impulse. I just love his impulses, and that's why I'm so excited to get back with him for C2E2, because we're gonna have. Listen to this, Kulbir. Chief and I are gonna be alone in Chicago for like 3 days with no parental supervision.
Yeah, I'm getting dropped off at the hotel.
Yeah.
I'm basically getting dropped off with a credit card.
You have a set amount of cash and don't take any cards with you.
Oh no, I'm gonna be well prepared. I've got a hotel room within a mile or two of the con, and there is a free shuttle that takes you to the con, so there's no walking around really. But I believe it also goes to the comic shop right there too. There's a Graham Cracker Comics right there in downtown Chicago, so we can go there too. We can just hang out and do some cool stuff, ride the tram around, see what's going on.
Yeah. It has. I mean, there's been so much going on with comics. There's been a lot of good buys. We've been doing a lot of good buys. I picked up. I don't know if you were on last time or if I bought it afterwards. I finally got a first appearance of Shang-Chi.
Oh wow! That's awesome.
$40. I found it for $40.
I'd love to hunt those boxes in America. I'd love to do that.
You need to come out here and hang with us and come hunting with us. Oh, yeah. Chief went to hit one of his secret spots, and he made out like a bandit the other week.
Yeah, well, the two that I got that are the coolest, I think, is that I've got. Let's see, this is a Charlton Captain Atom number 80. Silver Age, back in the Charlton days with Captain Atom. And then finally I was looking everywhere. I even asked the guy where I bought this if he had any of these one time. So I think when you went with me, Spin, we went and I asked the guy if he had these, and he said, "Oh, I thought I had some somewhere, but they're all gone." I managed to finally come across Ghost Rider Volume 1, Number 1, the first issue of Ghost Rider, which I thought I only paid $20 for it, and I thought for sure it's got to be more than that,
And that's Carter Slade Ghost Rider. That's not Johnny Blaze. That's Carter Slade.
The old school Western Ghost Rider. But I've been looking for that book for like 5 years, and I went into an antique mall with my wife, and this guy had a comic case there full of old comics, and the first one just laying on the top of the second shelf when I walked by was Ghost Rider number 1. I was like, you've got to be kidding me! I've been looking for this book. For at least 5 years, I've been looking. Like I even looked at C2E2 in like every box and couldn't find it, and it had to be there, and I still didn't see one.
Looking at the time, it's almost that time for us to be getting out of here tonight. That way, Kulbir can go back to sleep.
What, like 4 a.m?
Yeah. You'll get a little bit more sleep, and then you can go get some breakfast. We want to thank Kulbir for coming on with us. We're gonna get the plugs out of the way for everybody. I want to give a thanks to Stephen Wilds. He gave us another comment on our YouTube channel on the episode. Remember, all episodes of the Nerd Rage Renegades podcast not only go up on Podbean and everywhere that are sentient. I don't know if Kulbir ever knew that we have a sentient AI now that says all the stuff I don't want to say. We have a sentient AI now. She'll say in a minute where all the formats that we're on. But the show also goes now up on YouTube, so if you've got YouTube, you're at work, you don't want to have your phone plugged into your ear, you can go on YouTube, you can look up Nerd Rage Renegades, and you can get all the podcasts.